You're listening to Untarnished Moments, the podcast that helps you shine through life challenges and move past self-defeat into victory. I'm your host, Donna Cherie. Let's get into today's show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Untarnished Moments. I'm your host, Donna Cherie, and today I have a guest. His name is Edwin Beeks, aka Mr. Inspyre. He is a motivational speaker, an encourager, and as the name says, he likes to inspire individuals. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So, tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Okay. Yep. Like you said, my name is Edwin Beeks. I'm originally from Greenville, South Carolina. Moved to Raleigh in 2014, pretty much, to put down roots. I've been married the last 6 years to my wife, Kalina Beeks. Just a, normal, I guess, like down to earth dude. This really on that path or that trajectory, trying to better and find myself as well as, encourage and take others, along for the ride. As far as what I do, I mean, I wear several hats as we all do. Corporately, I'm a network engineer for the Postal Service. I migrate, enhance, and upgrade networks for the mail processing plants as well as the postal police. As an entrepreneur, and I know you know this as well, Donna, uh, I do like so many, so many things. My wife and I, we run a commercial and residential cleaning business. And as you alluded to earlier, I'm also a motivational, inspirational speaker as well.
Okay, great. And yeah, that's a lot of different hats to be managing. So, you mentioned that you're a motivational and inspirational speaker. What led you to this?
And what led me to it is, excuse me, part of my own trauma and part of my own issues and getting over them myself and realizing that, first of all, hey, I need help, and realizing that others, need help as well. And I don't want people to, or anyone to suffer the same things that I did, or, the same loopholes that I've been through, or the same cycles that I've been into. And I realized that, hey, if you've had it, and anyone else can, be going through the same thing. So that's what really is, inspired me to help others. And I've had that example in my life, as far as back as I can remember, like my mother and my grandmother. I mean, they were helping everybody. I mean, any and everybody. Like my grandma would literally, I was in the car and she would literally pick up somebody off the side of the road. You know what I mean? Like back in those days when you could do that, when it wasn't, you didn't have that fear, somebody, killing you or kidnapping you or something. And even like now, my in-laws, my wife's mother and father, I mean, they literally would give people the shirt off their back. Like I've seen her give away cars. Like my mother-in-law is giving people cars. So it's always been around me. And I was like, man, I need to do something. You know what I mean? And you hit that little aha moment and it's like, okay, I'm convicted. I'm doing something. It starts today. I'm helping somebody.
Yeah, that's huge. And we definitely need more people like that in this world. I know some people they're like so leery about helping people or giving them money, but we still need to have that heart of service.
All right.
So there was a time in your life where you experienced fear. You talked a little bit about this cycle that you were going through and you had this lack of self-trust. It felt like you had no self-confidence. What was going on in your life at that time and how did you handle it specifically?
And absolutely right. I had no self-confidence, no self-trust. I had fear, plenty of fear. And the biggest error that I think I made is not asking for help. And that's one of the huge reasons that I want to become, that I want to help so many people, is that for me, I just didn't ask for help. And it pretty much started like as a young child. I was like picked on, and it got to the point it actually became bullying. Like not actually like physical. Nobody really put that, but it was more so mentally and emotional. And my issue was I did not know how to protect myself, or I did not know how to fight back. So when you say how did you handle it, the problem was I didn't, and it grew from this molehill into that mountain. Um, and that's what like just pretty much like projected me down that long road that I have, had to like fight back so much of. Like my parents, wonderful, amazing parents or whatever, love them to life. But for me, I guess like growing up, like my parents couldn't see, back in those days, putting that type of money into like clothes and shoes. I didn't have the Nautica, the Tommy, the Nike or the Jordans, like back in that era, when I was growing up. And as a kid, kids are, kind of cruel, what I mean? They just look at it as picking, but I was picked on to the point, it began to get, hurtful. There were even times like I would literally like go to the restroom and just sit in the stalls and just cry because like as a kid, I mean, I didn't know how to like really deal with it. And like I say, my issue was I didn't tell anybody. Like if I told this story to my family, you know what I mean? Like they would be confused. They was like, "What? We didn't know." Like even my mother, God rest her soul, she's in heaven. If I had 5 minutes to sit with my mother, and if I told her this, she probably would break down and cry because like nobody knew. Because at home, it was fine. I wasn't. My father wasn't a drinker or a smoker. Like I wasn't abused. I had plenty of love. So it's almost like I was living a double life as a kid. I was loved and protected and supported at home. But when I went to school, I guess in my mind I made that shift that okay, this is just how school is. First period, they're going to talk about my haircut. Second period, they're going to pick on my shoes. Third period, it's going to be my clothes. Like there were like several days I would do my homework because I always did my homework. I would like intentionally not hand it in. Like back in that day, you either had like silent lunch or no recess. Like, so I would have no recess and I'd have to like sit on like the little grassy hill, with the teachers while everybody played. And it didn't affect me really. I didn't worry about not playing because nobody was going to play with me anyway. I wasn't really going to get picked to play basketball or the kickball or whatever it was. So I, lived in my own, I guess, cocoon or life, just, sitting on the hill. Like for me, it was almost like a reprise, or a break from it all. And so that's how it went for me. And as as I went through like high school, as I got to high school, so like part of elementary and middle school was like kind of rough for me. But as I got to high school, I could do more. So I started to gain back bits and pieces of self confidence or self trust. Because when I would go in the weight room, I could do something or do something better than the others can do, and I got praise for it. Or playing football, I got praise for it, so it made me feel better. And it wasn't until the breaking point. I mean, like Donna, literally, this is the timeline. Like so I went to North Carolina A&T in 2001, and I got kicked out in '04. So I flunked out in '04. My grandmother dies. My car is stolen out of the driveway one night, and then my mother dies. Like that took me like so low. I mean, I really had no other, nothing else to, brace on or lean on. But while I was in college, like I don't know, it's like I had this ulterior, this alter ego. And I call him like today, and like today now it's like Eddie B. You know what I mean? And like Eddie B was a bad boy. Eddie B could talk to any girl. Eddie B could, I mean, he could stand up for himself. I mean, like, that cat, like, even when he walks down the neighborhood, I mean, dogs don't even bark at this brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody want a piece of Eddie B. Like that was like that alter ego for me. And I started to realize that, wait a minute, he's not saving me. I'm saving me. That was, one of the pieces of me that needed to come forth. And to kind of circle back to that question, why I want to help so much or help so many people, or why, becoming a public speaker, is because I realized that, like, yes, I'm helping I've got to help these young men and these young women. I've got to reach people in my community and things like that. But more importantly, I realized I was going back and saving little Edwin, that 8, 9, 10-year old Edwin. And I had to go back to honestly save him and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not have the tools to know how to defend you. I did not have the 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 access to information. I did not have the habits that would help you and save you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and I will never leave you again. And give yourself some grace for, not being able to stand up for yourself. And part of that healing process, and part of, getting better, and this journey to become a better version of me, like, that's what all led me, to this point. Like, say, hey, you know what, now I like that charge is on my life. Now I've got to help someone else.
That's powerful. That's really powerful.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times in childhood, there are times like that where we're living one way at home, or everything could be fine at home or
Mhm.
not fine at home. And then there's something else going on outside the home. But the thing that I heard you say is that you didn't know how to ask for help. And I believe so many people can relate to that, even myself, of just not being able to open your mouth and ask for help.
Exactly. That was, what? That was actually what led me to even getting kicked out of college. Like, I think that was just one of those things that, it transitioned, in life, if you don't pass a test, it's not like Wake County schools where they'll skip you up. In life, if you don't pass a test, you will repeat it. What you can't defeat, you will repeat. You know what I mean? Like now, you know what? That old trick, the big booty and the smile, it can't get me anymore because I defeated that level. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, like, for me, back in school, not asking for help or not knowing when to ask, or just opening my mouth, it defeated me in grade school and it defeated me in college. And not until I became, a young man, a little bit, older, did I learn that lesson and actually, work through it and conquer it.
Fast forward now, well, yeah, fast forward, when you got to this point of so many things happened to you at one point
Mhm.
during the year, I believe it was 2004, you said?
Yep. Mhm.
Yes. So at that point, what did you begin doing to help you shift or take it a step further to increase your self confidence and increase your self trust?
So for me, I had to realize, like you say, the biggest thing, and it started with self-trust. So for me, it was something as simple as I'm, I mean, honestly, saying I'm going to take out the trash. You know what I mean? And I did it, but it seemed so simple or small, but you agreed with yourself. You was like, you know what? I said it and I did it. It gives you that, it's like, you got to pour a little bit into that, you poured a few drops into that huge bucket. And for me, like, I love, working out, or exercising and things like. And the funny thing is, I hated it when I had to do it, like in school for sports. But it was like, soon as I was out of school, it was, I don't know, I started to love it again. But for me, it was like saying, okay, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. And when I would do 10 push-ups, I started to trust myself more, and I would add on to it. You could do 10. Hey, I'm going to do 12 next week. Oh, you did that? Okay, let's do some jumping jacks. Now let's run around the house. Let's run around the park, or run around the block, and you begin to trust yourself more and more, it builds that part, of self-confidence. It starts to just add blocks on top of each other. And so like that's what I started to do to, gain some of that back. And like I say, the biggest part of it for me was, just to have grace with myself, to forgive myself. There's a lot of people that just, oh, I'm a big man, or I'm a big woman. I forgave them for hurting me. I forgave them for talking about me or going behind my back and stuff like that. Yeah, but did you forgive yourself? You know what I mean? Have you had that uncomfortable and really difficult talk with yourself yet? You know what I mean?
Yes, self forgiveness is huge. They say that the secret to success is hidden in your daily routine. And you talking about working out some, and
Hmm.
how you use, in a sense, self affirmations or just starting to change your mindset and take your thoughts and put it into action. What does your daily routine consist of?
And you hit it right on the head too, Donna. Like you say, mindset. Like that was the main key to the missing piece of the puzzle that I had to put into place, was the mindset. I was missing the mindset. Like anybody can want anything, but until it becomes a must. Like you hear anybody say, yeah, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds. Yeah, but until it becomes a must, you're not really going to do it. You know what I mean? I want to do it. Everybody wants something, you know what I mean? But until it becomes a must, then you're not going to really do it. And I made that change. I mean, and people think it's like this really huge thing that they have to do, like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro or something, or what. And it's such a small little tweak. If you blink, you might miss it or whatever, but changing that part of my mindset was like the one thing that I was missing. And then it's like, I don't know, it's like the world opened up. It's like the roof flew off the house, and now I can see like straight to the sky. So for my routine, and I'll say this too, what I would want people to get out of it, for like my routine has changed at least 2 to 3 times since I started like this journey of finding, becoming, and building, the best version of me. And that's only normal. So like I don't want anybody to just get stuck into like one thing, that they're doing. You're changing and you're evolving. So like what you need today to get up off the couch is not what you're gonna need 5 years from now to get up off the couch. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna change as it goes. But I've been doing this thing now for like the last 3 years or so, and I've tweaked it as I've gone. But I call it the power hour. So it's like 6 items that I perform for 10 minutes, and it gives me 60 minutes. And I usually start my day at like 4:30 in the morning. So I get up, and like number one is my prayer. So, like I'm calling out to God, I'm praying for family, I'm praying on the behalf of other people, I'm interceding on other people's life, for others that I know and I don't know. And after that 10 minutes, then I meditate. And so in meditation, it's in the Bible, it's in the text, and that's the part. So like when we pray, we're talking or having this conversation with God, but the second part of it is like, well, I don't hear from God. Well, did you shut your mouth and be quiet? Like, so meditation is the part where we listen. Like we just listen and be present, and we hear back, or we see back or feel back, these instructions, or, the guidance from God. Number three, I read another 10 minutes. I read in the Bible. The next 10 minutes, number four, I read a self-improvement or a financial book. And take notes. Like that's very important. Like take notes about what you're reading. I don't know what it is. You could be the laziest person in the world, but when you put pen or pencil to paper, it's like it's almost like it just starts like ingraining in your mind. You start etching it in, a part of your brain. The next 10 minutes, number five, I write down my goals. And it's either my goals, and sometimes, what I'm grateful for. And these goals have all of these goals have, time they have deadlines, I should say. There are some goals that have 30-day deadlines, and then there are some goals that have 180-day deadlines, and maybe further. It just depends on what it is. And then the last 10 minutes, and it sort of like segues on into my workout. It's almost like just stretches into part of that. But the next 10 minutes, I hydrate. I whatever it is, water, lemon juice, little salt packets, anything like that, or stretch, or kind of loosen up, pre-workout, anything that I need to get going, or kind of just shake off some of the stiffness from the day before. And it just flows right into my workout. And after I work out, that's usually 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I'm done with all that. Then I start my day. I prepare for work or anything else that I have. And all that does, that's why I call it the power hour. It just primes me. It just primes, like, yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen it or recognized it, but on like a lawnmower or any kind of yard tool or gardening tool like that, there's like a little clear button on the side of like the engine, and it has the choke beside it. And it's a little button, and the instructions always say to start the engine, prime it, right? So you push in that little clear little button, and all it does is put like pressure or suction from the fuel tank up to the carburetor, so that when you pull the chain of the cord and try to start the engine, gas and fuel is already ready. Oh boy. Donna, you better stop me before I start
All right
preaching.
now. All right. Look, I'm over here getting excited. Shoot.
So it primes the engine, so you don't have to work that hard to start it, to get to going. So like that's what I do, because in these four walls, I can control me. But once I go outside, I can't control whether that guy pulls over in front of me or pulls out in front of me. You see what I'm saying? Like I can't control, what my clients do or say, or what your boss does or says, like, how the weather is going. You go out, you had a lovely dinner, a great night of sleep. First thing in the morning, you go out to your car, the battery's dead or the tire's flat. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
you may flip out and go go into a fit of rage. But if you had primed yourself,
Hmm.
then you wouldn't worry about those things. Like you know what, that it takes me right back to Jeremiah 20:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future, right? And I think, a lot of times we get frustrated, or we get worried or something like that, is because we don't know the plans. But that ain't what the text said. The text said, I know, God knows. You know what I mean? And so it's like he's saying, I know some things you don't know, because I've seen some things you can't see. You see your tomorrow. I mean, you see your today. I see your tomorrow. You see to the hill. I see over the hill. You see to the corner. I see around the corner. It's like the very things you crying about and worrying about right now be the very things you will praise him later for, because he's got some plans, you know what I mean? And priming myself in the morning allows me to like fall in suit. Like that's just one that I can't even remember what year it was, but that was just one of those things while I was meditating that I heard him say, you need to lock into this mode. You know what I mean? And once I did it, it saved me like it just saved me so much time. It's like a huge learning curve, and it's like I cut it in half.
Wow, that I love that. I love this idea in the implementation of the power hour. And as you were talking, I just started thinking about, because I don't necessarily mow the lawn, but I thought about when I get in my car, it's that clear button that the push starter. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I press that button, the engine comes on, it revs up, and it has that prime and to get it started and go forward. And so we can do, if you're listening, you can do the same thing, priming yourself by implementing the power hour. And just as a recap, you said that you do 6 items and perform them for 10 minutes each. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yep.
60 minutes, but 10-minute increments. And now let me ask you this. Are you using a timer for this, for your 10 minutes?
So in the very beginning, I did, and I still do, like, sometimes now, but like you need that structure. Definitely I did. I needed that structure. And like I say, it was hard to do. I do it early in the morning just because once my day start, I don't think I'll get that much time, just to sit still and do those things consecutively, you know what I mean? But for some people, they might can do it in their lunch hour, or they might can, hey, you know the house is so quiet at night, they can do it, do it all at night. But for me, I use it in the morning because, like I say, it primes me. And I very in the very beginning, yes, I did start out using a timer. It fluctuates from time to time now. Sometimes I'll use a little time, on my phone, and sometimes I want and not all the time do I pray, 10 straight minutes, and sometimes, praying turns into praising, and then that 10 minutes may turn into 15 minutes, you know what I mean? So it just, but these are just, it's more of like just like a structure of how to get started. And like I say, I've played with this for a few years, it'll be different. Everybody, probably needs, a little bit of something different.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely tailor it to your own lifestyle, your own values and principles that you have. Just to give another example too, like I believe I have the power hour as well. There's certain things that
Hmm.
I do, and I found myself. I started out, like you said, you can evolve because I started out trying to read as soon as I got up, but I kept falling asleep, and I was
I
like,
did the same thing.
I'm like, this is not working for me. And so what I started doing was exercising for
Mm,
at least 25 to 30 minutes first to get
mhm,
me wide awake. And then
mhm.
after that, I go and read and have my quiet time. So
Yep.
definitely just tailor it to your lifestyle and how you operate your body clock, whether you want to do it in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. But just know that it does work and it will prime you to move forward and go in the direction that God wants you to go in so that you can have a purposeful life. And
Exactly.
then, and also, too, so you said that sometimes you do use a timer. Do you implement this 7 days a week or, try to implement this 7 days a week?
So for me, I am it's more of a 6 day thing for me. On Sunday, I have more of a rest and reflect time, a period where I just plan the next week. Usually on Sunday I plan the next, Monday through Saturday. I go ahead and plan out that period. And I use another like point of time, just to remain grateful. But it's usually, Monday through Saturday for me.
Okay, awesome. With that, who has inspired you the most in your life? I know that you're inspiring others, but who or what inspires you most?
I say in the who inspired me like first was like definitely my father. Um, and he did so almost like just like pretty much in his actions. Not until I became like maybe later on a teenager would he actually like just like say things. Anybody knows my father, like he doesn't talk much anyway. But in the, while I was little, like you say, when the kids are always watching or always listening, I just always watched his actions. I mean, and he was a hard worker. He always, as they say, bring the bacon home. Um, he, it just looked like, he just did things, the right way, and when he would anytime he did anything outside, I was just like right out there with him or right by his side, just learning. And that's pretty much the reason I know probably 80% of the things that I know how to do, even as a young man and things like that is because I just watched him, and I always watched him work hard, and he never complained, and he always, finished what he was doing or working on and things like that. And he always just seemed like really knowledgeable about everything. It seemed like when I was growing up, I could ask him just a question. It's like he always just had the answer. I was like, man, I always know everything. You know what I mean? And so like that's who like really inspired me first, and then later on, a great speaker by the name of Les Brown. Like he really inspired me. Like I would love I got to meet this man. I really would love to meet, Les, in person one day. But like I've listened to everything and went back and found everything, he's ever done or wrote or, said. And it pretty much is like, like I say, it put that charge on me. It's like, okay, so it's not just enough to know this stuff. Like I need to go help some people. Like I need it as much as I'm, telling or helping everybody else.
I love Les Brown. He's
I'm
just
telling.
great speaker, great orator, and the way
Mm-hmm.
that he just breaks things down is so simplistic, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's one thing you can leave the audience with today that will take them from just being motivated into being driven?
I would say it's discipline, and not just discipline on its own, but discipline that will sort of transform into much more, and like you say, and I'm glad you, like, you phrase it that way, that would take motivation into being driven, because like we know, like, motivation is cool, but it's good for a certain point of time, and then it will like quickly fade away. It's like that little kindling that you use to start a fire, but you can come and pour a cup of water on that and put it out. You know what I mean? But what you really need is an inferno. And I'm telling you, the fire department, I don't care who it is, the military, like, nobody's putting out this inferno. That thing is just gonna burn bigger, brighter, and forever. And like that's what being driven is. That's turning your motivation into drive. Like, going from that little bitty campfire into the inferno. And what helps you get there, I I really believe, and I know for me, is discipline. And like so, and when I said discipline transforms into more, like it's gonna be discipline way before it ever becomes desire. Like it's discipline before it turns into devotion. Like, so with working out, you have to be disciplined with working out. Even, eating better. I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? Practicing an instrument, the piano or the trumpet. It's discipline in the beginning because you hate it. You know what I mean? Like you really don't like it. You're doing it because you know or you believe that it's leading somewhere. So you just do it. But after a while, you start to do it so much that you start to want it. It starts to become a desire. So that discipline goes from a desire, goes from just, being something that you don't really want to do into something you really want to do. It becomes a desire, or now it becomes devotion. Like you've been working out for like 3 months straight, and then one day it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the middle of the day, and you're like, you know what? I haven't worked out yet. It's a desire now. It's a devotion now. You're starting to miss it. So using discipline, and like I say, use discipline anywhere. And I'm real, like you say, like simplistic. I'm real simplistic. I had a friend ask me one time, he said, man, I can't go to the gym, and this and that, and I'm not, consistent with it or whatever. I said, okay. Well, I said, this is what you do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just go to the gym. He's like, man, I told you I just don't like working out like that. You know what I mean? I don't know what everything is. I don't know how to use all the stuff. I said, you missed what I said. I said, just go to the gym. I didn't say lift anything or pick up anything. I said just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just go to the gym. Go in there, sit down in the lobby, go in the main part where everybody's working out at, and look at the screens, look at the TVs, go to the locker room, where the sauna is, look at, look how the sauna works, read all the little placards and stuff, read all all those little motivation things on the wall and signs, read that stuff, and then go home. Then the next day, go back, get yourself a little drink of water at the at the water fountain and things like that. Pick up a towel, put it over your shoulder, walk around, act like you're doing something, and then go home. Before you know it, you make it a habit. You'll say, you know what? But I wonder what this does. You'll just pick it up and start doing something. And then you'll put it down. You'll go over here and get on this machine and just start walking and be like, okay, I like this one. No, I don't like this one. I like that one over there. You'll start, just get in the habit of it. It's just it's forming discipline. It's a habit. That's all it is. Like now, my wife laughs at me now. Like every day I make up the bed. She said, we just getting right back in there in a few more hours tonight, right? It's not it's not about that for me. It's how you do one thing shows me how you do everything in your life. If you do that one thing sloppy, I'm pretty sure that your closet looks a mess, your car is probably dirty, your clothes are wrinkled. I'm pretty sure there's probably dishes in your sink, right? I'm pretty sure there's everything. But if you do that one thing right, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you tie your laces tight, your closet, but everything is put away. Things have on everything that you have has a place. Things look neat. I'm not saying you're a neat freak or whatever, you know what I mean, but there's order, to yourself. There's a discipline to yourself, and people can tell, you know what I mean? Like life can tell, the world can tell, your dreams and goals can tell that you have discipline because they come to you. The more discipline you have, the closer your dreams and goals come to you. Like they can tell that you have discipline. It's not just people, it's not just things, it's your dreams and your goals too. They know you ain't got no discipline. That's why you ain't been able to get into them pants or that dress yet. You know what I mean? It's not going to come closer to you yet. But once you use enough discipline and you form that great habit, turns into desire and devotion, those things come to you. And then that turns into drive. Once you run through one wall, oh my goodness, everything else just gets out of your way. And they say, you know what? He's crazy. She's crazy. They're not going to stop. And that turns into drive.
Woo! Audience, I hope that you all grab that because I was over here writing down some notes while you were dropping all of those gems because that is so 1000% true. It's the discipline that is going to move us to getting to reach our dreams and goals. So, man, that was really powerful. And if you're listening, I really hope that you go back. You might have to run that back a few times so that you can listen to it, absorb it, get it in your spirit, get it in your heart, and then take action because that is the key. So thank you for that. That was a word.
No, no problem. No problem. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. And let the audience know where they can find you at on social media.
Okay, yeah, of course. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Mr. Inspyre. That's MR_INSPYRE. Mr. Inspyre.
All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mr. Inspyre, for coming on the Untarnished Moments podcast. I know I'll have you back again soon. So thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love being here.
Hey, Overcomers. Thanks for tuning in. For more information, head on over to DonnaCherie.com. If you want to find me online, I'm at I am Donna Cherie on Instagram and Donna Cherie on Facebook. Don't forget to join the Overcomers Confidence Club Facebook community. And of course, if you love the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes.